Okay, I'm Thomas Vanderveen, and I'm screencasting for our group. Our group is me, Nicole Sandrick, and Janelle Sharon. Our final project is a shared English class folder or resources, the way we modified it as we went along. And this is for EDU 779, our system analysis assignment. And I'm going to use my 10-minute screencastify here. So I'm just going to briefly skim over all of our topics. First of all, our proposal was it came from the need for teachers to have an organized place to put their ideas, share their ideas. Collaboration is key, especially in the 21st century. As a 21st century educator, we need to make sure that we're sharing in innovative ways, because there's so many different types of resources, whether it be a Google Doc or games or whatever, and especially with English and the Common Core. Any ideas that can help another teacher would be great. So collaboration, integrating technology, and assisting other teachers was really part of our drive for doing this. Our problem is that our H drive is going away in about 4 weeks. So our H drive was historically a place where all of our files were shared. I looked recently, and I have over 10,000 files over the past 20 years, and they're all organized. It took a long time to put them there, and Google made a nice way to transition that. And it's actually pretty simple to transition those Word files into Google. But then, what do you do with them? So that's our idea: is creating a shared folder of the most vital resources right now, so no one's overwhelmed with all this stuff. And how do you then share that? How do you create a class just really for freshmen right now? And then we'll see how that goes. That's how my school really runs things: is we introduce things to freshmen and then work it all the way up to seniors as we see fit, if the systems work out. Our solution is to have a class folder using Google Docs, and then we'll store this on Canvas. Through the progression of our ideas, Canvas ended up being a place to store this to make it more accessible and easier to use. The solution summary is that in our system, we're going to propose to have Google Docs as a shared class folder. We're going to implement this for high school and middle school, since our English language arts teachers have mostly their own materials that they've created. It's going to help teachers share ideas, improve collaboration, and definitely improve workflow, both from teachers and students, turning their work in, too, from my perspective. I think I really like it better when students turn things in online, because that way nobody can say they turned it in or they can lose it or whatever. As far as project management goes, this is our timeline. Integrated into this is pre, during, and post evaluations of how the system's going. Just really quick, basically, at the beginning, we're going to survey teachers. Then we're going to go over the inventory of our resources, meaning like, what do we have that we can all teach together? What do we already have that we created that will work? And what do we need to create? Because there will need to be PLC time to create new materials. The PLC time will be used for going over how the system will work and what to integrate into it, and what we talk about for privacy, and what do we do as far as copyright's concerned. And then at the end of this, there'll be an evaluation using a survey and really determining the life cycle of the folders too. Like, how long do we want to use this? How much do we want to evaluate and retire things? Um, so again, that's really all that I'm talking about here. For pre-planning, we had surveys. There's a lot of time worked in there for implementing things, meaning during PLCs, here's the materials that we'll include. And I want everybody to contribute. Having all the stakeholders involved really is the most important thing here for this system really to work. And then reflection's important too, going back and looking over what we've done and what we need to change. Um, for a long time, we've been using Google Docs and Word together. This is going to be really just a complete phase into just Google Docs, because that really is um, the newest version of documents that we can use to share and most effective. And we have an LMS Canvas that we use, so we're going to use that to our greatest ability here. We thought about the stakeholders, the environment, and the barriers. And in my school, the stakeholders are the teachers and really students eventually too. But also substitutes need to be thought about. How do we, for long-term maternity subs, give them access to the system? What are things that are involved in that? So we thought, well, we need to make sure that they have a sign-on. We need to make sure that they have training. They know how to share. And another possible barrier we thought, kind of outside of this, is plagiarism or copy infringement by teachers, which is ironic, but we need to make sure that if we take materials from online, which I do a lot, that we're giving credit where credit is due. As far as the final result that we want to take materials that have been vetted. By vetted, I mean we make sure that they work with Common Core. We make sure that they don't infringe copyright. We make sure that we don't step on any toes, and we have the most effective type of materials that we can use. And we're going to meet as a PLC to consistently assess that. And anything that's missing, we're going to create as part of that team. As part of the PLC meetings, the PLC leaders will lead the sessions, and teachers will share plans and ideas. And a measurable result of our system will be the number of files that we have. Right now, I tried doing this last year, to be honest with you, and I tried doing it all on my own. And I can evaluate and say it wasn't effective because only 3 of us contributed, but it wasn't a system. It's just an idea. So that would be a great evaluation of this. For our use case, we basically, again, come up with ideas. Our use case is right here. If you wanted to review it, we've turned that in, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but the use case has been provided to you for that. So again, I'm not going to bore you with that, but as far as process modeling, this is a layout of what we're going to do in the time that we're going to do it, how it's going to work. This is the flow of our ideas from the lead teacher kind of coming up with what we're going to do for the shared folder. And then we put these decision points in here because they're vital. You need to make sure that you have input from teachers in order for your system to work effectively. And then we have a post evaluation. Did this work or did this not work? So our flow chart basically, again, just says, here's what we're going to do beforehand. We're going to stop. We're going to use the PLC meetings to evaluate and then do a post evaluation. Our wireframe, which is quite long, kind of lays out what a very simple version of what we're going to do. I tried to make it as simple as possible so that way the user wouldn't get confused. There's not search buttons or anything like that. There's a super easy navigation that you'd use to walk through. The front screen just simply is Canvas. It's got the freshman English class there. You click on it, and as you go through, there's only a couple buttons to use on the side so nobody gets confused as they go. As far as specifications go, we laid out, where to find files and how to upload files and all that here. And as far as security goes, we laid out here as required. A's for access, C's for create, R's for read, U's for update and download and upload. All those things are laid out here as to the users that can use the system, and who's restricted. And during our teacher training, teachers will have additional orientation on how to ensure the security of our system, that it's maintained. It's really important for our system that we make sure that we maintain security and that we have certain users that can use it and certain users that can't use it. The department chairs will review the system monthly to be proactive in regulating security, including password protection and access to system by users. Our shared class folder is going to be implemented as a prototype, which is always a working model and it's always running. And again, we're going to evaluate that down the line at the end. Our system's both opened and closed. So the IT department's going to have to be involved in some of the things that are more of our closed system. Our district has a vision of how to implement this curriculum that we have, so it ties to their standards. So we need to make sure that our system works with that too. Again, that was just a quick overview due to time. I didn't want to use up all my time. So you can go ahead and go back into our PowerPoint and click on any of the links that we have, and that'll get in a lot more depth of what we're doing with our system. Again, at the end of the year, we'll evaluate what we've done and try to make sure that we have an effective system with enough materials and that it works. And if it doesn't work, well, as with any other system, we'll make modifications. Thank you, and thank you for looking at our system.